All right, so we're going to start with a new format, and I want to walk you through how to find your first customers when you actually don't have money. There are tons of ways to find new customers. You can do like paid ads, influencer marketing, SEO, etc. But the reality is like all those things that we see online usually like cost a lot of money. I started with almost nothing back in the days. I only had like $1,000, and yet I managed to generate more than $57 million in total revenue. If we look at basically the different like Stripe accounts, so this is for Lemlist. Then we have Taplio here. So that's like basically 50 million plus 4, that's 54 plus let's say 3, that's like 57. That doesn't go until like where we're at today. But anyway, you get the idea. So how do you go from you don't have a lot of money to you actually like generate a lot of revenue? Here, I also like did the same with Lempod, which is a company I sold after growing it to $600,000 in revenue. As I mentioned, I acquired like several businesses for multi-million-dollar deals. Here, it's a cool thread actually from Thibaut, who wrote about the whole story, because back then actually like Thibaut and I, as you can see on this photo, we were in the same like school. So I acquired his company and turned him into a multimillionaire, which I think is a pretty cool story. In any case, don't stress about like taking notes or anything, because I will share with you the doc that I'm currently like going through. There's going to be a lot of templates that you can steal, a lot of frameworks that you can use, and you'll get the notion. So really no stress. In 2021, I sold like 20% of the business to Expedition Growth Capital, really like cool funds. They focus on bootstrap founders. They're really like hands off. They help you whenever you need to, but otherwise they let you run your company. Took like $30 million in secondary. So secondary is basically the money goes directly to you as founder and not to your company, which was pretty cool. And now my mission is kind of like to give back and try to help as many people as possible. In this format, I want to be like super practical with the Loom video, but I just thought I had like a little bit of an intro. So what exactly do I want to show you in this video? I want to show you exactly how you can basically acquire customers with no money, practical advice and templates. And as I said, no need to take screenshot or anything. I'll just post the link to this Notion file in the comments. Contrary to popular belief, you don't need to spend thousands of dollars on marketing to let people know about the existence of your product or service. Tons of examples out there. We have people like on Instagram, TikToks, LinkedIn, etc., who you did not know about, let's say 5 months ago, and who became like superstar just because of whatever video. In today's world, you can create your own media without having to spend millions. We have people in their bedrooms who are making more views than any, like paid media or any, even like some national TV can't make the same amount of views that some people with their computer sitting in a fucking room in the middle of nowhere. That's the beauty of the internet. But essentially, like all you need to understand whenever it comes to customer acquisition is 3 things: who to target, when to do it, and how to get meeting booked. Because no matter what you're selling, if it's in B2B, my full focus is in B2B. So if you're in B2C, I'm sorry, like this video will not be relevant to you. But if you're in B2B, this is going to be exactly like what you need to do to generate like so much money. So there are 3 types of potential customers. The first one are what I call the hot leads. So it's people who are already highly interested in your product and service, and I will show you how exactly to find them. Second one are basically the community leads. I'll come back to this, but essentially it's people we try to find like connection point to have a higher closing rate. And finally, like cold leads. In this video, we're going to go through all the 3 steps so you can manage to get your customers without having to spend a single dollar. First things first is like hot leads. You might be wondering like, what the fuck is he talking about? Like we're just launching our business. How do we add hot leads? Well, I actually made a video. This is the video, which is called How to Build a Product Everyone Wants. And in this video, I basically share with you how to find people to interview before you actually launch a product or a service. And to sum this up, because you can watch the video, the idea is you have reached out to some people who are in your potential target customers. You have spent a lot of time asking them about the problem that you want to solve. And eventually, because now you are building the solution to it, you want to reach out to them again and offer your solution or service. And because you already have their information, these are what I call the hot leads. To give you an example of the day-to-day life, imagine if you go to the doctor and instead of asking you like about your symptoms, they directly say, you know what? I'm going to prescribe you XYZ before you have even talked. Would you trust them? I don't think so. So right now, the goal of the interview step, which I shared in the video and you'll have the link, is essentially to build that trust. So whenever you come back with a solution, you already have that trust established and it's super easy for people to go and work with you. Now you're probably wondering like what kind of message to send. And this is where I got you. So here it's like, hey, first name, thanks a lot for the interview. It really helped me understand topic better. I've been brainstorming a few ideas to help you get desired outcome. And here's what I propose. Step 1, step 2, step 3. In time, we should be able to get you results. What do you think? Worth a try. Now you're probably wondering, what are all of these things? These are called variables. Variables will be something that you have to replace depending on what you're doing. Obviously, you'll be able like to copy paste everything. Then I'll show you how you can do like this campaign in Lemlist. So whenever you basically like contacted people, you have like LinkedIn, email, phone number. Obviously, you don't want to send all the message one by one. You can do it, but in my opinion, it's kind of a waste of time because you're going to send the same message to all the person you've interviewed. And sometimes it's like 50, sometimes it's like 70, etc. So doing it manually would take a lot of time. So what you can do here, and we're just going to see like the sequence in Lemlist. Here, basically, like the variable are things that are going to be replaced automatically. And again, you'll have the link. You'll be able to just duplicate the campaign. As you can see in your account in Lemlist, you can start with like a free trial for 14 days. So you don't even have to be like a paid customer to use this. Just create an account, just start it and start sending. You're not limited to the people you reach out to. So pretty chilled and it's free and that will allow you to save like shit tons of time. So hey, first name. So for me, it will be like, hey G, thanks a lot for that. It really helped me understand topic better. So when I launched Lemcal, for example, Lemcal is essentially like a better Calendly version to make it like super simple. The issue I wanted to solve was the no-show rate. So no-show rate is when someone book a meeting with you and you're a sales rep or a founder wants to close deals, and you have prepared everything, you're waiting for them, and eventually they just don't show up. They don't show up because they don't remember who you are, they don't care about you, etc., etc. So what I wanted to understand is topic better, and topic is whether or not no-shows is important for you. Then I've been brainstorming a few ideas to help you get less no-show. And here's what I propose. Step 1, and then I'll go through like the whole process. And then I would say, in time, we should be able to get results. So let's say in the first 5 weeks, you should be able to see a reduce in no-shows. What do you think? Worth a try? Let me know. So that's very straightforward. But since you already had a chat with them, and go watch the video if you haven't, they know that they have the problem. They have told you they had the problem and you're bringing a solution. So it's exactly the same as if I'm in the desert, I'm walking, I'm super thirsty. My pain is I don't want to get dehydrated and die. And then you call me and say, hey, like I'm thinking about like bringing water to deserts. And then I'll be like, oh yeah, that would be dope, you know, like, cause I might die. Like this is a pressing problem. And then eventually like I keep walking, I keep having this pain. And then you reach out to me again and it's like, hey, G, we finally have the water going to the desert. Is that something you'd be like, okay to test and drink? And I'll be like, yeah, of course. Thank you. Thank you, Lord, for saving my life. So this is the kind of things that you need to keep in mind. Sales is about helping people solve a problem. So if someone told you about a problem they have, you create a solution. It's your duty to reach out to them and help them. If you don't do it, it means that you don't want to help people. That makes you a bad person. I'm sorry to say it. But anyway, you got it. You've got the template and this is exactly what you can do. Very simple, very easy to duplicate. It's fully free. Second category are called community leads. So why do I call them community? Because there are tons of people who are a great fit to your product or service. And usually they are part of what we call ICP. So ideal customer profile. Sometimes you will hear the word persona. But essentially, it means a category of people who have the same traits. Do they have the same job? Do they work in the same industry, etc., etc.? So for example, head of marketing of companies that have raised more than 20 million in the tech space, etc., etc. To find these people, you need to infiltrate communities and start creating a relationship, because once you're in the same community as people, it's a lot easier to connect with them. Let's say you go to your nearest coffee shop and eventually every single day you see that entrepreneur working at their desk and you're also an entrepreneur. At some point you're going to say, hey, and then maybe the next day it's like, hey, what are you working on? And then you're going to have a chat. And just because you share the same space, in this example, it's like the same location, you're going to have something in common. And then the conversation and the trust is a lot easier to build than if just a random person reaching out. Let's take an example. Let's imagine that you're offering copywriting services for SaaS founders. By the way, if you are like just launching your business and you don't know exactly who your ideal customer profile is, go watch this video, how to choose the right niche. Whenever you get started, you need to be in a niche. If you look at even Facebook, Airbnb, etc., they were like focusing in a niche, even though later on they became like mass market. So Facebook, I think it was just like a social network for like Stanford or Harvard student back in the days. Like it was very, very simple, very narrow. Then they expanded to other university and later on they become massive. But The reason why you need a niche is because you need to focus on what we call the 100 true fan theory. If you haven't listened to the podcast episode from Stephen Bartlett with the CEO of Airbnb, listen to it. It's very interesting. Essentially, a niche helps you convert more users. To keep it simple, let's say that you are a founder of a startup. Let's say that you're launching your company and you need a new bank because obviously you're going to receive money and you need a safe place to keep it. You have the choice between two banks. First bank is the bank for everyone. Maybe your grandma, your mom, etc. is indeed that bank. And the second bank is the bank for entrepreneurs. And in that bank, there are tons of really cool entrepreneurs that you know. Which one are you going to choose? The bank for entrepreneurs. And that's the simplest explanation of a niche. Whenever we feel that a service is targeted to ourselves and our needs, we are much more likely to purchase it. And that's why niche are so powerful. First, they force you to focus, which is like the key reason why startup fails. And second, it allows you to create the best product ever for a specific target. Now, let's say that you have your niche. Let's say that you are targeting essentially copywriting services for SaaS founders. So now let's go on Facebook. If just I type like here, SaaS founders, or even just SaaS, I could see here tons of different communities that I could join with a lot of SaaS founders. I could even go or just type like, for example, SaaS. Okay, here I see like SaaS Grow SaaS. As I can see, 30,000 potential members, a lot of things that could be cool. So actually, that's quite interesting. They made a post about Lemcal and I didn't even know about it. Okay, pretty cool. I guess our product is growing. So now that you are like on active communities, you don't have to go only on Facebook groups. So you can search, for example, let's say like, I'm just going to go on Google. If I type like SaaS founders, Reddit, as you can see here, I have like lots of subreddits. So Reddit is similar place with tons of communities. If I type like SaaS founder, Slack, communities, I'm sure I'm going to have like top 10 Slack groups and communities in 24, top 9 best SaaS Slack groups. So join them all because your target audience in there, you want to understand how they speak, who they are, etc., and also build familiarity, people to start seeing you. But now you're probably wondering, okay, what exactly am I going to do? So I'm going to give you a little story. When I started my agency in 2017, so that was quite a long time ago. No one knew who I was. When I started my SaaS, actually, no one knew who I was. But what I started to do with my agencies is started offering people in communities to work for free. So I could do two things. One, I had no skills, literally. So I wanted to test my offer and also see what kind of results I could get for customers. I didn't know if it would work for others. And at the same time, I thought I had to get started somewhere. So let's learn new skills. I mean, they're not paying me, which means that technically I can test, I can learn. It removes like a lot of pressure. Maybe if you're like really good at sales, really confident, etc., you can close deals, make a lot of money from the start. But in my opinion, it was not the case. I wasn't confident. I was not confident in my skills. I wasn't confident if I could get like really good results. So at first I was like, okay, I'm going to work for free for a month with a selected group of founders. And eventually, if I give them good enough results, they'll be willing to pay. Pretty simple. So what kind of message did I write? Very simple. I've changed its message to the example we mentioned. So copywriting services for SaaS founders. So hey there, I'm G and I'm currently working on leveling up my copywriting skills to help SaaS founders grow on LinkedIn to build network and or find new customers. I'd love to help a few founders entirely for free to start having success stories. If you're interested in receiving a fully developed content strategy for you or having me write some posts for you, comment below. PS, I will only be able to do it for a few people, so there will be a bit of a selection process. Cheers. Okay, let's break down this post. One, you're basically being straightforward about what you do. People don't really have time. Be straightforward, be straight to the point. Then you explain what's in it for them. You want to help them get customers, grow their network, and for free. So the risk associated is extremely low. Now, when people offer things for free, you're always wondering, what's the catch? The first thing is I've been straightforward. I want to have success stories. And just by knowing that, people might say, okay, like might be interesting. Then what's in it for them? If you're interested, basically I offer exactly like the service that I would want to sell if I was in that situation. And finally, I'm doing two things. One, I ask people to comment if they're interested. Whenever you join communities, what you can do is ask a few friends to join you. And basically, when you post something like this, ask them to like the post and comment. That way, it will already have a bit of social proof, because once you post, if people start seeing comments, they're going to be saying like, oh, okay, some people are already trusting that person, so I'm willing to trust them too, and I should try it. And then in the PS, we're adding a bit of scarcity. Scarcity is basically making something rare. And the way to do it is to simply say there are only a few spots available. Because when something is scarce, everyone wants it. If you enter a bakery and you see only one croissant left, if there are like 5 people in front of you, I can tell you that you're going to want to eat croissant, or at least that's what I want. So when something is rare, you usually want it a lot more. And the goal here is because you're joining a community, you have a few friends, you can ask a favor. You don't need like 10, 20 friends, just have like 3 to 5 people commenting and liking that, and eventually we're going to see more and more people commenting. And from there, you'll be able to choose the one you want to work with. And once you start having results, the simple things to do, you jump on a Zoom call with them and then you ask them the following question. First, can you describe the problem you were facing before you were actually started working with me? So typically in that case, well, as a SaaS founder, I don't have time to post on LinkedIn. I know it's a huge source of revenue potentially, but I had never had the time to explore it. So thanks to G, I managed to like start posting every single day and get a lot of inbound leads. Okay. Can you please detail the frustration you were experiencing? So yeah, it's super frustrating for me because I know it's a good platform. However, I don't have time, or I have writer's block, or I never know how to write in order to get like the most traction possible, etc., etc. Then can you please describe the moment you understood that my service was a solution to the problem you were facing? Then it can be like, hey, as soon as I started receiving like all those leads in my inbox, I knew that it was great. And then what does your day-to-day look like now? Blah, blah, blah. So the idea, 4 simple questions, record this in a Zoom. I'll actually make a video later. So make sure like to subscribe to the channel where I'll walk you through exactly all the tools I use for like testimonial, etc. without spending money. Next, you need to get paid because so far you've worked for free, which is a bit of a shame. Obviously you have, if you've applied like the first technique, you have the hottest leads who have converted, but now you want to convert the community leads. So first thing I have to do is obviously like to the people who had results, I think it's super easy to close them because you just say, hey, thanks for working with me. It's been a month. You've had 20 leads, which generated 10K, 20K, 40K of revenue. My service is 2K per month. Are you up to continue or whatever? Usually people are going to say, yes, please continue. I want more money. Thank you. And they're going to be super happy. Now what you want to do is go back to the community and continue to build up in public. So, hey everyone, last time I messaged this group offering my service for free as part of leveling up my copywriting skills. I wanted to thank you for the engagement. The results were great and I was able to generate more than $XXX in revenue for my clients with inbound leads that came thanks to my content. Now comes the next steps, which is finding paid clients. If you're a founder who is interested in growing on LinkedIn and leveraging, let me know. So here you're adding more social proof and at the same time, you also make it about them because you're thanking them for their support. You're making basically like your journey a common effort and you show gratitude. And at the same time, you're attracting more clients. And another way to do this, because we talk a lot about Reddit, Slack, Facebook communities, but you could also go on LinkedIn and find a common points. And this is another type of community, which is a bit more insidious. So it's not a community as per se, but people with a huge following also have a community. Their community is their following. So here, Lara Acosta, for example, she wrote a post about like building a personal brand. It has like maybe 2,000 interactions. So you could just go there, scrape all the comments. So look at all the people who have commented, etc. And then you send them the message. Hey, first name, I saw that you commented on the post by, in that case, Lara, that you agree that a strong personal brand is important, but I've noticed you don't post often. Can I help you create content strategy? Blah, 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 blah. These people have obviously showed an interest in building a personal brand, but a lot of people show an interest, but they never take action. And this is where B2B services or software that do automation, etc., can be of a huge help. So here, just right there, you have a pool of 2,000 potential customers that will know about what you're talking about. Okay, so I want to show you basically like how to do it. So in Taplio, here you can go into contacts and here you can create a new list. Let's say test, create list. And here, as you can see, I can essentially start importing all the people who have liked and reply a specific post. So if I go on LinkedIn, if I wanted to reach out to all the people, so maybe like 500 people who reach out, like who commented and like on my post, I just have to copy link to posts. I go back on Taplio, I do this. And if I click import, everyone will start it being added. And from there, you can push people directly to a Lemlist campaign. So now let's go back to the Lemlist campaign. So that's like super easy because it will also find like their email, etc., which is pretty insane. So here, the first step is to start inviting people. Obviously, you you can have a message, but I usually don't put any, and then start sending a message. So, hey, first name, I saw you commented on the post by content creator that you agree that a strong personal brand is important. Again, like this is the same message I read earlier. Then you can do a visit if they don't reply to you, and the visit will trigger a notification like, hey, G just visited your profile. That will remind them that you send them a message and they should reply. Then you can send a follow-up on LinkedIn. So a lot of people are trying to increase their credibility on LinkedIn. In 2023, I tripled my LinkedIn followers using one tool, Taplio. Here's the article I write about, blah, blah, blah. Here, the goal is to essentially like start adding a little bit more value. So you add a little bit more value and you provide like more social proof as you are following up. And finally, the last step is called the voice message. So here on Lemlist, you can record like a voice message. And the idea is basically like people, whenever they listen to your voice, they're going to feel a lot closer to you than just a random message, because a voice message usually is something you record on your phone, etc. And here on Lemlist, you can automate that, which is really awesome. So here it wants me to allow, I'm not allowing it, but anyway, I will just record something like, hey, just following up on the message I sent. I hope everything's fine. I thought that you might need help a little bit with LinkedIn. So I just thought I'd reach out again. But if that's not the case, no stress. That'll be the last time I reach out. In any case, keep rocking. I see that we both follow the content creator. So in that case, like Lara Acosta, pretty awesome. Just let me know if you want to ever hang out and chat about LinkedIn growth tips and topics. Happy to share some of our process. If not, have a great life. Peace. That's it. Super simple, super easy, and laid back. And that's basically like how I would go with what I call the cold leads. So as I mentioned, what you want to do is to find a common point. And the common point is something about content. So here, the sequence I shared, it's basically something that I've done with Taplio. So I wrote a post where I basically go through everything I've done with Taplio. So when I acquired them, they were at like $20,000 in monthly recurring revenue. Today, they crossed like 3.5 million. And here, as you can see, there is like, okay, this was actually a very funny comment. I'm not sure if you know this football player, but really fun. I think we look very alike. But in any case, as you can see, there is like 1,200 people who can be potential customers because they are interested in the topic. So what I did is I went back to Taplio, did the exact same process, and then I sent them a campaign. Here, what I sent them, it was very simple. Thanks for the support on my post. Recently, I was talking with the head of demand gen at Zendesk, who has implemented the hybrid funnel approach to skyrocket their outbound. So far, they saw a 40% increase in reply rate. Do you want me to share how? Here are my availabilities, but feel free to send sometimes if you prefer. Basically, here, they just had to click on Lemcal and book a meeting with me. But that's all the replies that I got. Very positive. I booked like so many meetings with this one. I had to stop the campaign because right now I'm like less focused on sales prospecting, but I also wanted to show you like how you can do it. All along the video, I was focused on a B2B service that was copywriting on LinkedIn. So I thought about sharing something creative about this very specific niche topic that you could also do. What you could do is like take a big content creator on Twitter this time, and you look at their followers. Because typically like Justin Welch is very, very well known as the top LinkedIn creator. All his followers are really into copywriting and LinkedIn because that's his main topic. Then you could find someone in their follower who has a good following on Twitter, but not a great one on LinkedIn. And the reason why you could do it is because typically what you would see, like Christine Carillo, she has 24,000 followers on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, and only 5,000 on LinkedIn. She writes content, but she doesn't really leverage LinkedIn. Knowing that she's a coach and selling a program, I think definitely investing on LinkedIn would be great for her, but she probably doesn't have time. So if you reach out to her specifically with this, I'm sure that she'll accept. And here's a typical message that I would send. Hey, I've noticed you only focus on Twitter. Meanwhile, LinkedIn can help you double your reach and bring more revenue for your business. I have grown for 0 to 70K followers in 6 months, which brought me an additional $350,000 and would love to help you do the same. Would you be up for a 15-minute chat? Obviously, if you don't have like that many followers, I just put like random numbers. But anyway, if you don't have that many followers, it can just be like have helped customer ABC do XYZ, etc., etc. The idea here essentially is just to add more social proof. So that's kind of like the overall idea. And you're probably wondering like why reach out to her on LinkedIn when she has like less followers than on Twitter? Well, that's exactly the reason why. Obviously, she's less active on LinkedIn, but if she's less active on LinkedIn, this also means that less people are reaching out to her. So eventually her LinkedIn inbox is less cluttered and less crowded. So reaching out to her directly on LinkedIn will give you a lot higher reply rates. Okay. And if you're wondering like how to do sales prospecting on cold leads, you can go to like our template hub. Obviously you'll have all the links in the Notion doc. I'll put this Notion doc in the description of this video. This will be part of the whole series where I show you how to grow a business with no money so you can generate millions exactly in the way I've done it. I hope you enjoy this new format. There will be a few more videos like this where I really like dive deep and show you the how to do it and really share maximum templates with you guys plus the whole script of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Have an awesome day. Peace, love, and profit.